My sister claimed our family home right after our parents died and locked me out without a second thought. Should I just let her keep it all? So, I've been sitting on this for weeks, and I'm still fuming. I don't even know where to start, but I need to get it off my chest because my family's turned into a total dumpster fire since Mom and Dad passed. Basically, my older sister Lila decided she's entitled to our parents' house. Like, the whole thing, and the rest of us can just kick rocks. Me and my younger brother Trevor are getting nothing, and I'm so mad I can barely see straight. I don't know if I'm overreacting or if she's the one being a complete jerk here, so I'm just gonna lay it all out and see what you guys think. First, some background. I'm 34, stuck in the middle of Lila, who's 41, and Trevor, who's 28. We grew up in this old two-story house about an hour outside the city. Big yard, creaky porch, the kind of place that smells like damp wood and Mom's cinnamon rolls if you close your eyes and think hard enough. Dad built half of it himself, back when he was still swinging a hammer instead of wheezing into an oxygen tank. It's not some mansion or anything, but it's worth a decent chunk now. Maybe 300 grand, give or take. More importantly, it's ours. Or it was supposed to be. Mom and Dad both passed last year. Dad first from his lungs giving out, then Mom 6 months later from what the doctors called heart failure. But I'm pretty sure it was just her heart breaking. Losing them sucked, obviously, but we were managing. Lila took it hardest. She was always Mom's shadow, hovering around like she was the only one who cared. Trevor and I were there too, though. I'd drive up every weekend to mow the lawn or fix the leaky sink, and Trevor would call Mom every night to ramble about his dumb fantasy football league just to make her laugh. Point is, we all loved them. It wasn't a competition. Or at least, I didn't think it was until the will, or lack of one, came up. Here's where it gets messy. Mom and Dad never got their crap together with legal stuff. Dad always said, "We'll split everything 3 ways, don't worry," but it was just talk. No paperwork, no lawyer, nothing. After Mom died, we found a half-finished will in Dad's desk drawer, scratched out in his shaky handwriting. But it wasn't signed or notarized or whatever makes it official. It just said something vague about the kids sharing the estate. Cool, great, super helpful. So, we're all grieving, trying to figure out what's next, and Lila just takes over. She's the oldest, so she's always acted like she's in charge, bossing us around since we were kids, like the time she made me scrub the garage floor because I tracked mud in when I was 10. This time, though, it's not about chores. A couple weeks after the funeral, she calls me and Trevor and says, "I'm keeping the house. You guys don't need it, and I put in the most work with Mom and Dad anyway." Like it's a done deal. No discussion. No, hey, what do you think? Just Lila laying down the law. I'm sorry, what? I laughed at first because I thought she was joking, but she wasn't. She went on this whole rant about how she sacrificed so much, how she'd take Mom to chemo when Dad was too sick to drive, how she'd cook for them, how she basically put her life on hold while me and Trevor were off doing our own thing. Okay, yeah, Lila was there a lot toward the end, I'll give her that. She lives closer, only 20 minutes away, while I'm an hour out and Trevor's across the state working some dead-end warehouse job. But I wasn't off doing my own thing. I'd burned through vacation days to sit with Dad in the hospital, watching him fade while some game show blared on the TV. I'd haul groceries up those rickety porch steps because Mom couldn't lift anything heavy anymore. Trevor wasn't as hands-on, sure, but he'd send money when he could, even if it wasn't much. We were all in it. I told Lila that, calmly at first. We all helped out. The house should be split, like Dad said. She just scoffed and said, "You didn't do half of what I did. I'm not selling it or splitting it. It's mine." Then she hung up. I sat there staring at my phone, feeling my blood pressure shoot through the roof. That was the first fight, but oh man, it got worse. A week later, I drive up to the house to grab some old photo albums Mom promised me. Nothing big, just pictures from when we were kids, splashing in the kiddie pool or eating cake at Trevor's 5th birthday. I get there, and the locks are changed. Changed. I'm banging on the door, texting Lila like, "What the hell is this?" She finally comes out, arms crossed, looking at me like I'm some trespasser. "I told you it's my house now," she says. "You don't just get to waltz in whenever you want." I lost it. I yelled, probably too loud, I'll admit, that this isn't her call to make, that it's our house, all of ours, and she can't just lock us out like we're strangers. She yelled back that I'm ungrateful, that I don't deserve anything because I barely showed up when they needed us. Then she slammed the door in my face. I stood there on the porch, shaking, staring at the peeling paint and the cracked flower pot Mom used to fuss over. That house, it's not just brick and siding. It's Dad teaching me to ride a bike in the driveway, crashing into the mailbox while he laughed his head off. It's Mom sewing my Halloween costume at the kitchen table, cursing under her breath when the needle snapped. It's Trevor and me building a lopsided snowman in the yard, arguing over who got the carrot nose. Lila doesn't get to erase that because she played martyr for a couple years. After that, I called Trevor to see where he stood. He's always been the chill one. Too chill sometimes, like when he wrecked Dad's truck at 17 and just shrugged it off, but I figured he'd be pissed too. Nope. He goes, I don't really care about the house. Lila can have it if she wants it that bad. I'm like, are you serious? It's not just about the house, it's the money too. Hundreds of thousands we're losing out on. Trevor just sighed and said, I don't need the hassle. Plus, Dad owed me some cash anyway, so maybe it evens out. That's when I remembered. Trevor borrowed $5,000 from Dad a few years back to fix his car and never paid it back. Lila's been holding that over his head forever, and now she's using it as ammo to say he's got no claim. I told him that's nonsense. Dad never cared about that loan, but Trevor's too stubborn or too lazy to fight. So now it's me against Lila, with Trevor sitting on the sidelines like it's not his problem. I tried talking to her again, thinking maybe she'd cool off, but it was a disaster. We met at this diner halfway between our places, neutral ground, I figured. She shows up with this smug little smirk, sipping her coffee like she's already won. I brought up the will, or the scribbled note, whatever you want to call it, and said, Dad wanted us to share. You know that. She rolled her eyes and said, Dad didn't know what he wanted. He was doped up on pain meds when he wrote that. Mom told me the house was mine. End of story. I asked for proof. She didn't have any. Just her word, which she thinks is gold. Then she hit me with, look, I've got kids to think about. You and Trevor don't. I need this more. Yeah, Lila's got 2 boys, 8 and 11. But I'm sorry, that doesn't mean she gets to steamroll us. I've got a life too. Rent, a car that's falling apart, a job that barely covers it. I'm not swimming in cash here. That's when our aunt got involved. Mom's sister, this nosy busybody who's always picking favorites. She calls me up out of nowhere and goes, Lila's right, you know. She put her heart and soul into that house. You should let it go. I'm like, let it go? It's not her call. Aunt whatever kept yammering about how Lila's earned it, and I hung up before I said something I'd regret. Then I hear from Trevor that Lila's been whining to some family friend, this old guy Dad used to fish with, who's now telling everyone Dad always said Lila should have the place. Funny how I never heard that, and I spent plenty of nights drinking beer with Dad in the garage, listening to him ramble about life. The more I think about it, the more it eats at me. This isn't new. Lila's always pulled this crap. When I got married 5 years ago, she bailed on helping with the reception because she had a headache, but then showed up late and complained the cake was dry. When Trevor graduated high school, she made it all about how she drove him to the ceremony, like he owed her. She's got this way of twisting everything, so she's the hero and we're the screw-ups. And now she's doing it with the house, acting like we're greedy for wanting what's ours. I tried one last time to reason with her. I drove up again, uninvited, yeah, but whatever, and caught her in the driveway unloading groceries. The boys were there, running around, and for a second it felt normal, like we were still a family. I said, Lila, can we just talk? Split it 3 ways, sell it, whatever, just don't shut us out. She didn't even look at me. It's done, she said, lugging a bag of frozen pizzas inside. I'm not selling. You'll get over it. Then she went in and locked the door again. I stood there, staring at the house, feeling like a stranger on my own damn porch. That was a month ago. Since then, she's been posting crap on Facebook. Pictures of the boys playing in our yard, captions like, making new memories in our forever home. It's a gut punch every time. Trevor's still checked out, saying stuff like, it's not worth the fight, but I can't let it go. I talked to a lawyer friend, not officially, just over beers, and he said without a real will, it's a coin toss. We'd have to sue, drag it through court, spend money we don't have to maybe get a third of what's ours anyway. I don't even know if I want to go that far. It's not just about the cash, it's the principle. She doesn't get to rewrite our family like this. But here's where I'm stuck. Part of me wonders if I'm being unreasonable. Lila did step up more at the end. I can't deny that. She was there for the late-night ER runs, the doctor's appointments, all that stuff I couldn't always swing with my work schedule. Maybe she does deserve more. But the whole house? Locking us out? That feels like a power trip, not fairness. Trevor's no help. He's half on her side just to avoid the drama, which pisses me off even more. And every time I see that house in my head, the chipped blue shutters, the oak tree we climbed as kids, I want to scream because it's slipping away, and I don't know how to stop it. So, yeah, that's the mess I'm in. I'm still so mad I can't think straight, but I keep second-guessing myself. Lila's dug in, Trevor's useless, and I'm out here feeling like the bad guy for not rolling over. Am I the one screwing up here? Should I just drop it and let her have it? I don't know. Tell me what you think. I need some outside eyes on this before I lose my mind.
A few moments later.
Update. Here's what's happened since then. Alright, so it's been 8 months since I last spilled my guts about this whole mess with Lila claiming the house. I figured I'd owe you guys an update because it's been a roller coaster, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around where I'm at with everything. A lot's changed, some for the worse, some just weird, and there's a new problem that's popped up that's got me stressing all over again. Buckle up, because this is a lot. After that last blowout with Lila in the driveway, I was done trying to reason with her. She'd made it crystal clear she wasn't budging, and I was sick of banging my head against the wall. For a while, I just let it simmer, didn't call her, didn't text, just tried to live my life and not think about the house every 5 seconds. It wasn't easy. I drive by a place that looked like it sometimes, same faded shutters or overgrown yard, and feel this knot in my stomach. But I told myself I'd move on, focus on my job, my friends, maybe even fix up my own place instead of obsessing over what I'd lost. Trevor, meanwhile, stayed true to form. Zero help, zero stress. He'd check in every couple weeks, usually with some dumb joke about his latest fantasy football disaster, and whenever I brought up the house, he'd just shrug it off. Lila's gonna do what she's gonna do, he'd say, like it's no big deal that we got shafted out of hundreds of thousands. I stopped pushing him on it because what's the point? He's not wrong. She's a brick wall. But it still bugs me that he's so blasé about the whole thing. I guess that's just Trevor, laid back to a fault, even when it screws him over. Lila, though, she didn't waste any time digging in. By Christmas, 4 months after Mom's funeral, she'd moved her boys into the house full-time. I found out through Facebook, of course, because she's still posting those smug little updates. First snow day in our home, with a picture of the kids chucking snowballs in our yard. I unfollowed her after that because every post felt like a middle finger. Word got back to me through a cousin that she'd repainted the kitchen, Mom's kitchen, with the ugly yellow cabinets we used to tease her about, and put up new curtains. It's her place now, no question, and she's acting like we never existed. For a while, I thought that was it. Game over, she won, I'd lick my wounds and move on. But then spring rolled around, and stuff started hitting the fan in ways I didn't see coming. First off, Trevor called me out of the blue one night, sounding rattled for once, which is rare for him. Turns out Lila had reached out to him, not to apologize or anything, but to demand he pay back that $5,000 he borrowed from Dad years ago. She said it was only fair since she's taking on the burden of the house, and she needed the cash to fix the roof or some crap. Trevor laughed in her face, over the phone, at least, and told her to shove it, but it rattled him enough to vent to me for an hour. She's delusional, he kept saying. Dad didn't care about that money. Why is she digging it up now? I told him she's probably strapped for cash. Owning a house isn't cheap. Taxes, repairs, all that. And Lila's never been great with money. She's got a part-time gig at some office, but with 2 kids? No way she's swimming in it. Trevor agreed, but said he's still not paying her a dime. She can sell the house if she's so broke. He snapped, which made me laugh because, yeah, fat chance. That call stuck with me, though. It was the first crack I'd seen in Lila's perfect little victory lap. Then, about a month ago, I got a curveball that flipped everything upside down. I'm at work, slogging through emails, when my phone buzzes with a number I don't recognize. I pick up, and it's this guy, some lawyer, all stiff and polite, saying he's got news about the estate. My heart just about stopped because I figured Lila had done something insane, like sold the house, and was rubbing it in. But no, he says they found a will, a real one, signed and notarized, tucked away in a safe deposit box Mom and Dad had at the bank. Apparently, Dad set it up years ago, before his health tanked, and forgot to tell anyone. The lawyer's firm was going through old files, found the key in some paperwork, and opened it up. Here's the kicker. The will says the house and everything else, savings, the old truck, all of it, gets split 3 ways, just like Dad always told me. I sat there, jaw on the floor, while this guy droned on about probate and next steps. I barely heard him. I was too busy replaying every fight with Lila in my head, every time she swore Mom promised her the house. When I finally got my voice back, I asked, "So what now?" He said it's not simple. Lila's already taken possession, changed the deed or whatever, so we'd have to challenge it in court. It's a fight, basically, and it'll cost money and time. But holy crap, there's a chance. A real shot to get back what's ours. I called Trevor right after, practically yelling into the phone. He was half asleep, typical, but perked up when I told him. "No way," he kept saying. "You're serious?" I said yeah, dead serious, and we need to figure out what to do. He's still wishy-washy. Says he's not sure he wants to stir the pot, but I can tell he's tempted. Me? I'm all in. I've been chewed up over this for months, and now there's proof Lila's full of it. I'm not letting her skate by on some lie she fed herself. So that's where I'm at, gearing up for a legal mess, scraping together cash for a lawyer, and trying not to lose my mind. I haven't told Lila yet. Part of me wants to shove the will in her face and watch her squirm. But the lawyer says we need to play it smart. File the claim first, let her find out through the courts. I'm fine with that. Let her be the one blindsided for once. But here's the new problem that's got me twisted up. The house isn't even hers anymore. Not technically. See, while I was digging into this with the lawyer, I found out Lila took out a loan against it. A big one. She used the house as collateral right after she locked us out, probably to cover her bills or fix it up or whatever. The lawyer says it's a mess. If we win and get the house split, we might inherit that debt too, or at least have to fight the bank to untangle it. I don't know the details yet. Numbers make my head spin, but it's bad. Like, tens of thousands bad. Trevor flipped when I told him, said, "She's screwing us twice now." And yeah, that's how it feels. Lila's not just hoarding the house. She's tanking its value, and we're the ones who'll pay for it. I'm pissed all over again. I thought finding the will was a win, but now it's like we're digging ourselves into a deeper hole. I can't stop picturing her, sitting in Mom's old rocking chair, acting like queen of the castle while she's secretly drowning in debt she stuck us with. It's so her, always pretending she's got it together when she's just making a bigger mess. I don't know how Trevor's staying so calm. I've been pacing my apartment every night, wondering if this fight's even worth it anymore. Emotionally, I'm a wreck. I was starting to let go, you know? I drive home from work, crank the radio, and tell myself the house was just a thing. Memories don't need a deed. Now it's back in my face, and I'm torn between wanting justice and wanting to walk away before it eats me alive. Trevor's no better. He's dodging my calls half the time, probably because he knows I'll drag him into this. Lila's oblivious, or at least she thinks she is. I saw her at the grocery store last week. Didn't say hi, just watched her load up her cart with her boys trailing behind. She looked tired, bags under her eyes, but still had that smug tilt to her chin. I wonder if she knows what's coming. So yeah, that's the update. We've got a will, a shot at the house, and a giant loan-shaped wrench in the works. I'm meeting the lawyer again next week to figure out costs. Might have to sell my car to cover it, which sucks, but I'm too deep to back out. Trevor's half in, half out, and Lila's about to get a rude awakening. I keep asking myself if I'm crazy for pushing this, if I'm the one turning it into a war, when maybe I should just let her have her crumbling kingdom. Am I the jerk here? Am I dragging this out too long? I don't know. Just tell me what you think, because I'm running out of steam and sanity over here.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the story and found something meaningful to reflect on. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our daily updates on raw, real, and often intense family stories. Your support means the world to us.